All right. Well, on November 14th, Mayor Ginther announced his operating budget proposal. The $912 million general fund budget reaffirmed the mayor's commitment to Columbus neighborhoods. Certainly want to thank Mayor Ginther, his staff, for their engagement in this operating budget process. We work together as a team to collaborate and produce an operating budget that serves all of our community. I want to thank our finance chair, Elizabeth Brown, her office, Kelsey in particular, and James for the work that they did, our legislative research office, Matt and my office and team, and all of my colleagues for their engagement on this year's operating budget. We're here today because it is our duty as the legislative arm of the city to review the proposed budget, engage neighborhood leaders around shared priorities, and ensure this budget reflects the voice of Columbus. From extensive community engagement, Council coalesced around 3 priorities: supporting the creation of good jobs, building stronger neighborhoods, and creating pathways out of poverty. Chair Brown will explain these 3 priorities form the lens through which we viewed all requests to the operating budget. Underlying all these priorities is our commitment to fiscal responsibility. My colleagues will have an opportunity to speak about their specific priorities reflected in this operating budget. However, I'd be remiss if I did not mention some of the most important investment areas. These investment areas include additional funding for racial equity work, workforce training, opioid prevention, collaboration with our union partners, access to healthy food for kids. We are investing in these areas while adhering to a fiscally prudent principle that we keep our city strong. But we didn't get here overnight, and to describe the extensive process that led to today, I'd like to invite to the podium Councilmember and Chair Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you so much, President Hardin, and thank you to everyone for joining us here today. I want to echo the Council President's thanks to the staff that really helped guide us in this process and prepare these amendments for the budget. I want to thank my colleagues for their partnership in our effort here today. It is an oft-repeated truism that a budget is, above all else, the demonstration of your priorities. And that's why we're proud to announce this package of amendments totaling $3.3 million. These amendments complement the budget proposed by Mayor Ginther, but they further align it with 3 main priorities, as the Council President said: strong neighborhoods, good-paying jobs, and pathways out of poverty. As my colleagues reviewed the operating budget proposal, my goal as Finance Chair was to together create a process that was open, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of our diverse community. We engaged together in an unprecedented level of outreach and conversation with residents throughout the city over the last year. I want to thank Erin Gibbons and the whole Community Engagement Office for their outreach efforts, which amounted to 105 community meetings and neighborhood hearings, more than 1,000 hours of conversation. What we heard in response is that despite all of Columbus's progress, residents continue to emphasize the need for jobs that support a family and strong neighborhoods that are safe, clean, and vibrant, and still too many people in our city are struggling to make ends meet. We must build pathways out of poverty. Council's amendments are a reflection of those priorities. In a moment, my colleagues will outline their own priorities among the amendments, but I first wanted to highlight a few key items that we worked hard on. We are adding $100,000 to halt evictions in a newly established eviction prevention fund. This is a priority for every member of council because evictions disrupt the lives of too many families every year and create a permanent mark on a resident's record. And we know that without stable housing, we cannot truly achieve economic security. We're also adding $75,000 to continue another year of helping pregnant women who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, helping them have access to secure housing, employment, and health care. Recent studies show that the stresses of homelessness are strongly predictive of preterm birth and low birth weight, even more so than smoking and substance abuse. This funding is a partnership between Moms to Be and Community Shelter Board, which has already led to multiple healthy birth outcomes in the last year. We're proud to help this partnership continue, and I want to thank Michelle Heritage of Community Shelter Board for bringing this priority to us originally last year. This past year, we also worked on a partnership with the Children's Hunger Alliance and the Recreation and Parks Department to ensure kids have access to free meals even when school's out. We served 700 unique kids in high-need neighborhoods, and what was innovative about this partnership is that it is an open site model, which means children show up, no questions asked, and get food in a safe, stimulating environment. Thank you, Judy Mobley and Scott Neely, who are in the room today from Children's Hunger Alliance. And as the Council President emphasized, many of these amendments are building upon priorities of the proposed budget. I am grateful to Mayor Ginther for his stated commitment that Columbus will lead the nation in support for children ages birth to 5. That's why we are adding $150,000 to expand an early childhood education study from just the Hilltop to the entire city. If we are to truly tackle the dearth of access to high-quality education for our youngest residents, we must first understand the full scale of the problem we're solving. With that, I want to give my colleagues a chance to further highlight what they are championing in this amendment package. So I'm going to invite our Council President Pro Tem, Michael Stinziano.
Well, good morning, everybody, and I think we're all very appreciative of the work that Chair of Finance, Elizabeth Brown, has done with her staff and with the different departments. Budgets are about priorities, and our council continues to put our neighborhoods and our residents first and foremost as we evaluate those priorities. A couple initiatives that I'm proud that we are going to continue to be supporting. As Chair Brown mentioned, continual funding and support for Moms to Be. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to see Moms to Be in action, but they're fierce. They provide wonderful grassroots neighborhood-directed programming, and it's truly making a difference as we continue to address and improve our region's infant mortality crisis. And so very excited that we, again, will be funding and prioritizing support for Moms to Be. Another initiative that I'm a little biased for is continuing to fund our car seat program in the city of Columbus. Having a proud father of a 5- and 3-year-old, we've got a wonderful program in the city of Columbus where they will go and check and make sure these young people are safely, securely in their car seat. But when we came on a few years ago, there was a wait list and didn't think that was appropriate in terms of what our city should be putting first and foremost. And so working with some great leaders with the Department of Health, we have consistently funded additional support to the City of Columbus car seat program, and very excited and appreciative of my colleagues' ongoing support for this program. Our goal is to reduce that wait line so any family member, any grandparent can come and make sure these young folks are able to, again, be safe, secure, and riding along with mom and dad as they go out and about. And the final priority that I also am very appreciative of my colleagues supporting is additional support for the Gladden Youth Sports Program. The Gladden Community House is a rock in our Franklin Sin neighborhood, and the youth sports programming that they do serves about 11,481 hours of healthy, constructive activity. And we had the opportunity the past couple of years to see it in action, seeing the opportunity these young folks have to engage with other neighborhood residents, amazing volunteers, and really to be out and about in their neighborhood in a positive environment. The Gladden Youth Sports Program continues to do an outstanding job of giving alternative options for residents year-round, and so really appreciative of our body's ongoing support for that initiative. So those are a couple of my highlights. You're going to hear more, but I get now the honor to produce one of our fierce members, and Councilwoman Priscilla Tyson.
Good morning, and certainly thank you, Councilmember Stinziano, President Pro Tem Stinziano. I want to just thank you for your work, especially focused on children. President Pro Tem Stinziano, just really do appreciate your work and the initiative that you are focused on today. I also want to thank Councilmember Elizabeth Brown on this process. I know that from being in that role for a number of years, that it certainly is not an easy role and position, but it's an important one because without the finances, we certainly don't move our city forward. And so I thank you and your team for your leadership, and I also appreciate the initiative that you also are focusing on, because many of them are focusing on our children, and I thank you for that work. And certainly, I want to thank our president, President Shannon Hardin, for leading this team in this effort on council to be able to move our city forward and focus on the priorities of the residents of our community. As I consider the issues that we need to be addressed in our city, I'm committed to, as always, focusing on initiatives that enhance our residents' overall quality of life. For example, I will continue to invest in the local food action plan. In 2017, we began implementing the plan. The goals of the plan include enhancing, coordinating, and the communication amongst existing food resources and agencies, improving access to and education about healthy food, local food, and affordable food, increasing the role of food in economic development, and preventing the food waste. I am proud of the progress that we have made over the last couple of years because of this food plan. Columbus City Schools received USDA funding for equipment that will allow them to peel and slice 50,000 apples a day for lunches, because we know that children will eat apples when they are sliced. The school district committed to also ordering 3 million apples from a local farmer. The Farmers Market Management Network received a grant from the USDA in the amount of $265,284 to fund access to locally and regionally produced agricultural products in Central Ohio. This, in addition to 3 community partners securing $1.1 million in federal and private foundation funding for projects that will allow local food suppliers to feed residents while supporting jobs. And this past summer, I also funded, with the help of my colleagues, the opening of the Linden Farmers Market, which provided us with the blueprint on how we can open markets in other neighborhoods. While I am proud that we have achieved this and much more, but there's more to be done. The $50,000 that will be included in this amendment is to support the local food action plan, will be utilized so we can continue the work in 2019. $18,000 will be used to support community gardens. For several years, I provided $10,000 for gardens, and this year there's an increase of $8,000 so we can fund new gardens. I will also continue to work with the food plan team at Columbus Public Health as we prioritize the funding for the food plan and identifying how those additional dollars will be spent. Now, in 2018, I, along with my colleagues and with their support, started the Commission on Black Girls. I created this commission because we know that Black women are being evicted. You heard that we're going to be focusing on that. They're in the shelter, and as we continue to support our women that are pregnant in the shelter, certainly want to thank Michelle for her work, because we know that who's in the shelter. They're experiencing infant mortality, maternal mortality, and at significant higher rates than our white women. In Ohio, Black women are twice as likely to live in poverty as compared to white women with similar education. Between the ages of 18 and 34, they're experiencing the highest rates of poverty in our state. They're twice as likely to be in prison as compared to white women, with Black women 18 to 19 being 5 times more likely to be in prison. To change that trajectory, the lives of Black women, Black girls must be given the resources and benefits to improve their quality of life, and the tools that make good long-term decisions. The purpose of the commission is to enhance the quality of life of Black girls, focusing on girls 11 to 22. The commission has spent the last 6 months in an education and fact-finding phase. We heard from a number of experts and consulted with the researcher who conducted surveys, focus groups, and listening sessions, all targeting girls 11 to 22. A report is now being developed. Once we receive this report, we are looking forward to moving into the implementation phase of the commission. The $50,000 that's being amended in this budget is for seed money to begin implementing the recommendations that are identified in the report. As I stated, I'm committed to supporting initiatives that enhance the quality of life of Columbus residents. While the Local Food Action Plan and the Commission on Black Girls meets this objective, I know there are other challenges that our community is facing, such as the opioid addiction, affordable housing, trauma, unemployment is an issue in some of our neighborhoods. I also want to continue to work in these areas with my colleagues to make sure that all of our residents have the opportunity to have their best quality of life. And now it is my pleasure to bring up my friend, Councilmember Mitchell Brown, who leads our Safety Committee on Council, but he's just so much more. And we just appreciate his leadership and his work, not only in our community, but other communities in which he serves. Councilmember Mitchell Brown.
She's a relative. And acknowledging a relative, I got to say to Liz Brown and her staff, thank you very much for your taking on the responsibility of dealing with finance. It's always complicated to try and address the issues about budgets. And certainly with the leadership of Council President Hardin, we move forward for our 2018 budget. With one of the city's initiatives focusing on community safety, the amendment I want to share with you this morning would be to support the police division's body-worn camera program. In response to our residents in 2017, Columbus began the implementation of police body-worn cameras. There are currently 1,200 cameras in use right now, and that accounts to approximately over 65,000 videos each month. Columbus has been a leader in developing the policies and guidelines for how body cameras are used and serves as a model for state legislation for House Bill 425. And I see State Representative Herschel Craig in the office. Herschel, again, thank you for your leadership. Okay, State Senator, I'm sorry. Herschel led the charge with regards to body-worn cameras on our behalf, and certainly we appreciate your engagement, sir. This groundbreaking legislation translates and creates transparency for both law enforcement and the public by providing privacy protections and while ensuring accountability. The amendment I am proposing will allocate funding needed to provide additional years of video maintenance and software development. But I want to be clear. While our population of tourism continues to grow and our police division has utilized new initiatives to confront violent crimes, and our police personnel have remained mostly static. While working with an outside counsel, the Mayor's Columbus Community Safety Advisory Commission is expected to present recommendations this spring. I anticipate that among those recommendations will be the call to increase the number of officers in our police division. I will also seek available resources to provide funding to increase the number of officers within our division of police to ensure, as our population continues to grow, that our law enforcement officers are able to deal with the issues they present themselves. It's important to keep our city safe, where we all live, where we all work, where we all enjoy and have recreation. At this time, I'd like to introduce my council colleague who sits to my immediate right, Councilmember Emanuel Ritter.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to start out by sharing my appreciation for Mayor Ginther, the administration, my council colleagues, Finance Chair Elizabeth Brown, and certainly President Hardin for their demonstration of leadership as we look at some of the values that are being expressed here today. After several meetings and discussions with my colleagues and members of the community, I'm excited to highlight two priorities that are important to the community, this body, and myself. There will be $50,000 earmarked for citywide litter mitigation campaign. After countless discussions with residents, civic associations, and area commissions, it is understood that there is a great need to bring awareness of the adverse impact litter has on our community. This campaign will also complement the new operation within the Division of Refuse, where there are 3 full-time employees assigned to revolving refuse vehicles roving refuse vehicles around 3 distinct areas of the city. This is something that has been very evident throughout our conversations in the community, that there is this broken window theory, and whether it is a broken window theory or just the sheer chance that somebody within the community deserves to live with a clean alley behind them and not have to spend every waking hour going out and cleaning up their streets and roadways, this community, this city deserves better. And this is a start in order to try to mitigate some of these issues. There will also be $50,000 earmarked for a Welcome Columbus operation, initiatives my office will be working on to address communications barriers, access to resources, and employment opportunities within the refugee, immigrant, and new American population. We're excited to have the opportunity to be a more welcoming city for this diverse and exuberant community within our great city. My office and I are eager to begin our work to address both of these challenges. I want to thank you for your time and ask you to enjoy the remainder of your day. Now it is my distinct opportunity to welcome the newest member of Columbus City Council, Councilmember Shayla Favor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I would like to start my remarks by extending a grateful thank you to Council President Hardin, as well as the Chair of the Finance Committee, Ms. Elizabeth Brown, on their leadership and their demonstration to not only the city's priorities, but Columbus City Council's priorities for 2019. As Chair of the Housing Committee, I am committed to the work of building stronger neighborhoods. Columbus is growing rapidly, and the affordable housing and eviction crisis is a direct result of homelessness. I believe a fund to assist in those needs with rental assistance is a start in the right direction. Research shows that having legal representation can decrease a tenant's chance of being evicted by 75%. Tenant education is vital for residents to help them understand their rights and responsibilities, and an eviction mitigation fund will prevent families from simply losing their homes. As Chair of the Judiciary Committee, I intend to champion probation reform in order to support the court's efforts of reducing domestic violence and negative risk assessments. At least 1 in every 3 women have abused or coerced into unwanted sexual activity during their lifetime. Adding additional domestic violence probation officers will reduce those numbers in Central Ohio and diminish the staggering statistic that every 9 seconds a woman is assaulted or beaten. In an effort to continue our priority and commitment to support job creation, the Lead Us Summer Youth Program will continue to offer future leaders an opportunity to gain experience in government and to develop critical skills which will allow them to succeed in life while staying off the streets in the summer. I look forward to strengthening relationships with our residents and continuing community conversations in order to address the needs of each individual in our capital city. I am excited about the year ahead, and I look forward to accomplishing all of these priorities as we move forward. And now it is my pleasure to turn it back over to the Chair of the Finance Committee, Ms. Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you. That is all. I want to close by thanking Council President Shannon Hardin again for his leadership, and we are all available for any questions that folks who are here may have individually afterwards. So thank you.